Well, hello, my name is April Prunty. I am an educator here in Rockford, Illinois. I have been for nearly 30 years. I also serve as the Alderwoman for the 6th Ward, and I have done that since 2021. I'm also on the African American Resource Center board, where I currently serve as secretary. In the past, I've served on Booker's board in multiple capacities. I've done that since 2009.
Moja, kujichagulia, ujima, ujama, tania, tuma,
So, what is your earliest memory of Booker?
Probably my earliest memory of Booker is the mural that used to be on the side of the building. Growing up, I would see it. I can remember some of the portions of it still. I remember seeing even the name on the side of the building. Then I would see that mural every day, and it was just a phenomenal um, uh, line of history, so a timeline of history. When I started meeting there as National Council of Negro Women met there, as well as the um, Northwestern Illinois Black Caucus met there. So it gave me an opportunity to meet at the community center.
Are there other events, programs, or gatherings that you remember taking place at Booker?
Probably Booker Fest be the one that, stands out. Love the music and the culture that takes place. It gives new groups the opportunity to showcase their talents and then to bring all of that into our very own cultural center. I also love Kwanzaa there, so that's probably my new favorite. I've been participating at Kwanzaa at Booker for, almost 15 years, so it's been wonderful.
Uh, so, what role has Booker played in the Black community of Rockford?
Well, as you know, Booker started off as the Colored Soldiers Club during World War II, I believe it was, World War One, I'm sorry. And it was during that time where the black soldiers needed a place to meet. They couldn't meet at what I believe is now Midway Village. So they couldn't do some of the same things, have fun, have recreational things. So they started this as the Colored Soldiers Club.
Wow. So, as you've noticed, how has Booker changed over the years?
Over the years, I think that we've stood strong as a nucleus for the African American community. That it was like back during the 1960s and during that time frame when the colored soldiers utilized the facility. I think that Booker has continued to serve as a place of refuge for the African American community. Changes that I see. That I've seen taking place over the years. I think that we have grown from colored soldiers to being very community minded, arts focused, culture focused, so, and a resource to the community.
So, what leadership or mentorship have you experienced at Booker?
Um, well, leadership. Like I said, I've served on Booker's board, I believe, since 2009, and I served on Booker's board, and recently now I'm serving on the African American Resource Center at Booker's board. So I've served in the capacity of secretary, presiding officer, where and I think that some of the leadership that I experienced had to come in the form of the late Sadella Hughes. She invited me to the board and served on the board with me. She and Willie D. Ashford Sr., the late Willie D. Ashford Sr., I think that they were phenomenal leaders who just understood the legacy, understood the history, and understood the importance of having the center in the community. It being the oldest independent Black community center in the state of Illinois, I think that they understood the critical need for this facility. Phenomenal people, good people. I met them. They loved Booker. They loved this community. Um, I was just remembering before this weekend, I was just remembering Sadella and thinking, yeah, I remember she told me that her children told her that Booker was her husband. So, and I think that her love for Booker really did shine through. She would fight for this community, fight to make sure that we had resources and that we were able to serve the children in this community. Sadella was a fighter anyway, as was Mr. Ashford. Mr. Ashford was going to make sure we were taken care of. He could really take care of the facilities. I volunteered with Mr. Ashford at the when Booker had bingo every Tuesday right downtown with what used to be the UAW hall. We held our bingo sessions. So they're wonderful people. Like what we have as community traditions, like our love for knowledge, our love for our history. I think that if you visit Booker right now, you could go into what is the Chuck Jefferson Resource Library, and when you walk into there, you're going to see there is where a lot of local history is preserved, as well as Black history, Black culture is preserved. So I think that that's one thing. And I love that we continue to host our summer festival, host our summer program. We have space for our elders. We call that the boomers. And I love that have been able to continue having Kwanzaa as well as our Black History program. Chuck Jefferson was the representative. He was the first Black representative for the 67th district. He was one of the, he served as a Democrat, and he's led it was their minority leader, if I'm not mistaken, for I think like 13 years. So, yeah, and he was phenomenal to Booker in helping us address some of our needs as well as raise funds, work on infrastructure. So, yeah, really appreciate all that he provided and continues to provide. Just even in that library, as we continue to remember him. And what he was also in the military as well. So, just that again, like Sadella, like Mrs. Hughes, like Mr. Ashford, Mr. Jefferson and his family too loved Booker. The barrier was we lived in a segregated America, including in the military. So Booker served as that outlet for those colored soldiers. Currently, I think that the way it is serving is that we're providing child care, extracurricular for the children, as well as for parents and people who are who may have some barriers. We are currently helping them address those barriers through our TANF program. We've had the Teen Reach program. I think one of the things I really can appreciate about it, that I remember one of the first things I did as, not one of the first things, but one of the things I did on the board is we brought the garden program to Booker. And of course, Booker has had it before, but just giving the children the opportunity to learn to grow their own food, know where their food came from, and then to learn some of the history that our people have had with food and agriculture. I think that that was a great STEM's opportunity for them. I think that one thing that I know that people will never forget is that it was the Colored Soldiers Club, that in 1916 that there was that need in the Rockford community. And though they had Colored Soldiers Clubs across the country, this one, and I think there's one other, they still survive and they still serve their respective community. When you go into Booker and you walk down the Hall of Fame, you hear some names that um, are unforgettable, including, Deacon Davis. Um, oh, no, I can't think of anybody, but that's one that steps out. Mr. Walker. Um, they have had lots of directors who have worked hard to hold it all together over the years. When I think about people who may have shaped me, I really think in terms of people who I worked with on the board, and that would be um, Mrs. Hughes, Mr. Ashford, and even Representative Jefferson. And then I also think of the current folks who are there. They are phenomenal, giving their time and talents to keep us going. That includes Karen Waller, Geneva Anderson, Jesse Bates, Fayreen Muhammad, Tanya Davis, folks who understand and who believe that this is necessary.
So, what should young people today know about Booker's history?
Many of the things that I've said, but then they should understand that it's a treasure, it's a jewel, it's rare, and that it needs it needs them, but it also needs to be preserved so that they have it for. It's over 100 years old, and it needs to be here the next 100 and the next 100 for those next generations. Because as much as we think that not that things haven't changed, but that like other cultures, we want to preserve our culture. As we are in the holiday season and we think about Kwanzaa, I think that Booker represents that self-determination. It represents unity and creativity. All of those principles. I think that when you think about Booker, you and you think about the community, I think you can't help but to think of Kwanzaa. I think that that this is important. I think that it's important that we keep the flame and we pass on a good legacy to the next generation, and that they understand the importance of this so that they can pass it on to the next generation and so forth.